Howdy, I'm PJ with CattleMax. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to help you get your herd data transferred from CowCalf5 to CattleMax. Due to the fact that the data is set up in CowCalf5 a lot differently than in CattleMax, the conversion process is quite complex. Please feel free to contact us to help you get started with the migration process so you can get the most out of your CattleMax subscription. We look forward to working with you.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Lewis, and I am the Customer Success Coordinator here at CattleMax. It is my pleasure today to be walking you through a few of the features that CattleMax has to offer. Today, we will begin on the dashboard. The dashboard screen runs your CattleMax account. Along the left side of the screen is your menu, which will always remain available to you regardless of where you are navigating within your account. By now, you may have noticed that the icons on the dashboard have become clickable once you've begun adding in your inventory. This is to allow for quicker access to these listed areas. Another vital section of the dashboard is going to be tucked underneath this management header. It's the herd health icon. From the herd health screen, you can see any recently treated animals that may be in a withdrawal period and when that withdrawal date will be lifted. For any recently vaccinated animals who may need a booster, you will also be able to see that recommended booster date. Another nice feature of the herd health screen is called our preset treatments area. This area allows you to create a list of all frequently used treatments among your herd. You will be able to go in ahead of time and add treatment details such as name, category, withdrawal or booster periods, dosage, route, and location. By creating a preset list, this allows you to quickly and easily update the treatment records on an individual animal or a group of animals. The next area I would like to visit is the animal profile page. To access an animal profile page, I can come to the Search Cattle box located in the menu area and enter the ID of an animal I already have in my account. This is an animal profile page. Regardless of status, every animal in your CattleMax account will have its own animal profile page. By status, I mean active, sold, dead, or reference. Near the top of the page, you will find the ID of the animal. For this account, I am using visual IDs as my default. Next to the ID, the animal's current breeding status is shown. Along the right side of the page, you will see the general information about the animal. Most of this information was entered when the animal was added or created to the account. The first tab we will discuss is the Timeline tab. From the Timeline tab, you will see all activities related to the animal from the time of birth to when the animal was sold or died. Such activities include measurements, treatments, and pasture movements. And if the animal is of the appropriate age, their breeding, preg checks, and calving information will also be available to you. I always encourage people to check out the Add New Activity button, which will always be located near the top of the Timeline tab. The Add New Activity box allows you to access shortcuts to update information for the animal. You will find in CattleMax that there are various ways to update your information. If you choose to update animals on an individual basis, the Add New Activity box is the way to do so. The next tab over is the Breeding tab. The Breeding tab is where you will find the animal's current and historical breeding information. Up top, you do have the current breeding status. The next box over is the next calving date, also known as the estimated calving date. So depending on the breeding method used and the dates associated with that breeding, CattleMax will help to calculate the estimated calving date. Under the breeding header, you will notice some dates are gray, others are green. The dates in gray are historical or archived breedings, which means they have been archived due to a calf being tied to it, or maybe it was an open preg check. Preg check records and heat scores are also available underneath this breeding tab. The Offspring tab is just a quick, easy way to gain access to the animal's progeny. Next to that, you do have the Performance tab. This is where the animal's measurements will be available. CattleMax does offer a place to store birth, weaning, and yearling information. However, you can bring in as many measurements as you would like. So if you do any kind of gain testing, you can bring those measurements in as frequently as needed. CattleMax will then use any reference weights and reference dates brought in with those measurements to help to calculate your average daily gain and also your weight per day of age. Reproduction measurements and carcass data are also stored underneath the Performance tab. The Health tab will contain current and historical health treatments on the animal. The last 3 tabs on the animal profile page are available only in our registered plans. There's an area for a 3-generation pedigree, EPDs, and also embryo transfer if that's a form of breeding method that your operation utilizes. Moving on to the pasture section in CattleMax. In CattleMax, you do have the option to map out your pastures if you choose to do so. However, you do not need to map a pasture to create one. Click on New Pastures in the upper right corner and enter the pasture details there. Once the pasture is created, CattleMax will put it into one of 2 categories, either an active pasture or an empty pasture. What makes a pasture active in CattleMax is inventory. And from this screen, you will get the total number of animals in that pasture and the animal type breakdown making up this total number. If we open up one of our active pastures, it takes us to the pasture profile page, which is very similar in layout to the animal profile page. Near the top, we have the name of the pasture. Next to that, we have the current number of animals in that pasture. General details are along the right side, and we do have a timeline tab to show any activity in the pasture by date. Once again, click on the Add New Activity button. From this box, you can rotate pastures, which will move the entire inventory from one location to another and establish a movement date for all animals involved. You can also find the turn-in bulls and remove bull feature. Utilizing these features, you can quickly enter a natural service breeding on a group of cows already established in a pasture. Click on Turn-in Bulls, select the bull or bulls to be used in the breeding, and enter a beginning breeding date. From there, CattleMax will apply a natural service breeding to every age-eligible female in that pasture. When it comes time to move bulls out, click on Remove Bulls. Once again, select the bull or bulls you are removing from the pasture and enter the end breeding date. CattleMax will use those dates to calculate the estimated calving date for the dams. Moving on to the Cattle tab, this provides a current inventory breakdown of the pasture. From this screen, you can utilize our group update feature, a popular tool for updating information for many animals all at once. So whether you are working a few head of the inventory or the entire pasture, you will notice that once the check marks have been placed in the box, the Update Selected Animals button appeared. If we open up this group update box, you will see a listing of all available information you can update and additional options in this box as well. Again, all of this information is going to be able to be applied to a group of animals to update their data. Let's take a quick look at the health treatment. When the health box opens up, you will see the first available box to fill in is the preset box. This is where the presets from the herd health area on the dashboard come into play. The drop-down box will present my list of preset treatments and fill in any information I've already entered for that particular treatment. At this time, I can enter in a treatment date and apply that, along with any other additional information I would like. If there is any kind of withdrawal or booster period assigned to this preset, CattleMax will make the appropriate calculation as to when those dates are due. Once I hit Create Treatment, all animals I have selected, their timeline tab and their health tab will be updated for me. The hay production tab tracks haying information. If you have mapped out your hay fields and have entered your haying details, CattleMax will update your weight produced and also your weight per acre. Under pasture activities, this is set aside for any kind of spraying or fertilization that you might do on your fields or pastures. Pasture notes are general notes you might keep. The turn-in bull and remove bull feature from the timeline tab, that information will automatically filter into this area for you. Let's head on over to the reports section of CattleMax. From the reports area, you can access your analytics of your data in CattleMax. Your account will come with default reports and worksheets. However, you can create as many as you'd like, keeping in mind that all reports and worksheets are customizable. So let's go ahead and take a look at a cow inventory report. This report is currently set to show me all of my active cows. It has also given me their average age and their current breeding status. If I needed to edit this report, I could click on Edit Report. I now have a criteria tab that I can set up and also a columns tab that I can customize. Everything in gray is my current column headers for this report. From here, I can remove any that I'm not using. I can also search up additional headers right here. Once I have them set in this gray box, just know that it is a drag and drop into the order I want them to appear on the report. Click Update Report to save changes. And know from this screen you can print, and you are also able to export them into another format. On a worksheet, we'll go ahead and open up a breeding worksheet. You will have white columns and gray columns. The white columns are the headers you have chosen for CattleMax to fill in based on the current information in your account. The gray columns are the column headers you have chosen that you wish to remain blank. You will then fill it in on a hard copy once you've printed it. You can click Edit Report to open up that criteria and columns area to customize. Be sure to click Update Worksheet once you have those set. And once again, you can print and export the worksheets as well. Other areas under the reports include the end of year organizer. This is a great tax time tool to generate reports and spreadsheets that your accountant might be needing. The ranch verification organizer was added to aid those involved in programs that may require a third-party audit. The ranch verification organizer is set up to provide data that is frequently requested during such audits, and you can download this into a few different formats as well. The other newer addition to the analytics section is going to be the inventory time machine. This we added to help with programs that require you to identify active inventory from a past date. So simply come here, you can enter a historical date, click go back in time, and CattleMax will give you a list of your active inventory at that time. Again, you have a couple of formats that you can also download that in as well. A couple other areas I'd like to just share with you real quick is the equipment area in CattleMax, where you can come here, you can add in as much equipment as you would like. You are able to tie photos into that equipment. Once you open up your equipment profile page, you will be able to track such things as maintenance. Rainfall is another area that is becoming more and more popular. As it stands right now, the Rainfall section is a manual entry, so you do need to come on up to New Rainfall, add in the date, the location, the amount. Once you click on Create Rainfall, CattleMax will put that data into these charts and graphs to show you that precip breakdown among your locations over the months and years. And then the final stop here will just be on the contacts area. You can add in as many contacts as you would like. The really nice thing about these contacts pages is that you're able to track anything maybe purchased or sold to an individual. You're also able to track the ownership among your herd in terms of any kind of animals that you've assigned to a certain individual. Well, on behalf of everyone here at CattleMax, let me just thank you for sharing your time with me today. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to call us. We are always happy to help. But we do hope you go on and enjoy your rest of your day. Thank you for using CattleMax.